So what I decided to do for this video is I took a pen and I took a piece of paper and I wrote down all the different types of controllers that people use on Fortnite. So whether you got no paddles, you got 2 paddles, maybe you got 4, maybe you just have a normal PS5, PS4, you know, whatever it is, there's going to be timestamps in the video, all because of this notepad right there. We're gonna have timestamps, but yeah, not anymore. That thing is now gone. For this video, I decided to partner up with Elite controller paddles. I knew I had this controller video coming up, so I got them to send me out these paddles that I've been using on the back of my Elite Series 2 controller. I've been using them for the past week, and I'm starting to even prefer them more than the ones that originally came with the controller. Here's their website, which is very easy to navigate. They have the paddles, which you see here in all sorts of different colors, as well as they have these joystick extender caps to help you get a better grip and have more control over your movement. To me, my personal favorite is the Galaxy ones, and in my opinion, these would look good on any controller. I got them to give me 20% off with code keybinds at checkout. If you click the first link in the description below, my code will automatically be applied. This is a really good deal for anyone looking to upgrade their game. Go check out Elite controller paddles, first link in the description. I just want to give a quick disclaimer that these are the binds that I believe to be the best, and there are plenty of, there's like millions upon millions of different settings and binds that you can choose for yourself, and there's so many different pros that have all these different types of binds. What I tried to do in this video was give you a logical explanation as to why these are the best binds and not just say they're the best binds. The reason why there's so many different pros with different binds, even on mouse and keyboard, is the same story, because at the end of the day, as long as you're above that mid-tier level of optimal binds, if you put in the work and the practice, you're gonna get to that level where you're gonna be crazy. Just don't always put the blame on your keybinds or your settings, because the best way to improve is when you put the blame on yourself, because that's the way you're gonna be able to fix your mistakes. So for those of you who are not skipping around, you're gonna be able to understand this whole process and why I chose these binds. So we're gonna work backwards, starting with the 4 paddles first. This is the Microsoft Xbox Elite Series 2 or any other controller that has 4 paddles. Now don't ask me why I have it this way. I really have no idea. I thought I was on to something. I have the bottom left paddle as right D-pad. I have the top left paddle as B. I have the top right paddle as A and the bottom right paddle as Y. To make this as least confusing as possible, if you have different paddles, you could still bind them to the same thing in this order that I have it. So hypothetically speaking, let's say A right now is jump and Y is pickaxe. What I would do now is that I just told you A was the top right paddle and it was jump. So what I would do here is just put B to jump. So before I go crazy and explain to you why I have these binds, I'm going to show you the bind so you can just copy it real quick if you just want to get that over with. So this is the controller I always use, and if you have 4 paddles just like me, you don't want to play claw. You don't want to play claw on the right side or the left side. The best way to do this is to hold it normally. Now when it comes to having 4 paddles, you're going to be able to bind all your primary action keys to the back of the controller. Those are your pickaxe, your switch mode, your edit, and your jump. Those 4 actions are what's going to be on the back of your controller. This makes it so your thumbs will be on both the left and right analog stick at all times when doing the most actions on Fortnite. As we go from 4 paddles to 2 paddles, there's going to be a few things that we're going to take off, which is going to be less optimal. The more paddles you have without say, the more optimal your binds are going to be. Now don't get lost in this example. It's really easy to follow. The reason why I put the switch mode and the pickaxe on 2 different sides was so I can press them almost at the same time with both hands. When you go to wall replace someone, you need to press the switch mode bind really fast. So you need to have your pickaxe out. So what you do is you press your pickaxe button on your right hand, for example. That's what it is for me. And then as I'm swinging, I'll press the switch mode button with my left hand and then place the wall with my right hand. You see how one hand is in charge of getting the wall out, which is my left hand, and then the other hand is in charge of placing the wall. That's how you get that down really quick, by having one bind on one hand and the other bind on the other hand. Now I'm going to mention this in the basic PS5, PS4 part of the video, and I'm going to mention this in the Xbox part of the video as well, but I gotta stress this. The reason why people get paddles is that so they can jump and move and shoot at like the same time. You should definitely put jump on a paddle if you have one. You need to get used to that. So since I decided to do this video myself, I switched up all my binds on this Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. I'm practically a complete bot and I'm relearning all the binds because I know that this is better. If you have 4 paddles, one thing you don't want to do is play claw on one side and then use the other 2 paddles. That's essentially useless. I'm telling you, if you're changing your binds, just get used to having both paddles at the same time. You'll be way better off. Not only that, your hands are going to thank me because it's way less tense and like stressful on your hand. So as a quick reminder, what we did was we put our jump to the top left paddle, we put our switch mode to the bottom left paddle, we put our edit to the top right paddle, and then we put our pickaxe to the bottom right paddle. The reason why I like having 4 paddles so much and I like these binds so much is that you're going to be able to wall replace and put cones and stuff inside people's boxes without taking your hands off the analog stick. So pretty much Slight persuaded me not to use confirm edit on release. He's one of the controller gods I know that's really good at the game, so I kind of just listen to him. So if you're watching this, oh, I'm better than you. It's that simple. But what I changed because of him was that I made sure I had my select on R2 and I had my confirm on L2. Also, my reset is on R1. In my opinion, I like having my left hand dedicated to confirming and then the right hand about choosing whether or not to reset or to select something. Plus, another reason why I like it so much is that if Slight can edit extremely fast like the way he does, then I know that I have the ability to eventually get up to that if I decide to practice that hard, which probably will never happen. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we just finished the Microsoft Xbox Elite Series with BOXFIGHTING, and then now we have the 2-paddle controllers. So like I said, the 2-paddle controller or the Astro C40, I would be using these same keybinds on the Astro A40s if I had them. So once again, shout out to Slight because this is what makes the most sense. Check out Slight after this video. He's an absolute goat on controller. His link is going to be down in the description like I said. So unlike this 4-paddle controller, we had jump, switch mode, edit, and pickaxe all on the back of the controller. Now on this 2-paddle controller, here's what we're going to do different. We're going to leave jump on the left side. Then on the right side, what we're going to do is make that paddle edit. Now if you just realized we left switch mode and pickaxe out of the equation. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to put your switch mode to the left analog stick. You're going to press that down. That's going to take out your switch mode. And from there, all you're going to do is bind your pickaxe to any face button that's not being used by a paddle. The face buttons would be on the right side of the controller. So personally, if I was you, what I would do is bind my pickaxe to triangle, the top face button, or Y on Xbox. You're not going to do any sort of claw grip or anything on that controller. You're going to hold it normally. Then what you're going to want to do in the midst of a fight is take your thumb off the analog stick to press triangle or Y on Xbox so you could take out your pickaxe. You could still take out your pickaxe and move around so that way you won't get shot though. Personally, that's what I think that makes these binds so optimal. Following the same thing we did in the Elite 2, what we're going to do is make sure our L2 is going to be confirmed, our R1 is going to be reset, and then our R2 is going to be select. Pretty much to wrap this up with 2 paddles, that it's okay to take your thumbs off the analog sticks in this situation if you only got the 2 paddles. If you only have 2 paddles, it's still not worth it to play claw in my opinion. It's 2:30 a.m. I'm about to head to bed. I'll catch you guys in a second. So this is the next day, and if you have a normal PS4 controller or a normal PS5 controller, I'm going to tell you which ones you should do for both. If you have a normal PS4 controller, no paddles, what you want to do is use double claw on both sides. I did this back in the day when I used to play on PS4 with no paddles. I was pretty darn decent at using this thing. And also another reason why I did this, there's an EU pro, his name is Scully, and he used double claw on a normal PS4 controller. I'm not sure what he uses now. If I had to guess, I would assume he would use the same thing. I'm pretty sure even Sway at one point used double claw on a normal PS4 controller. You can get really cracked doing this. I'm going to show you the binds that I think are the best. So I do have a semi-old video about how to play double claw. I'm going to leave that in the description. I might make an updated one. I'm not sure though. Just so you guys completely understand, what we're going to do is we're going to put our pickaxe to the top D-pad. We're going to put our switch mode on the left analog stick. And what we're going to do is we're not going to bind jump to the right analog stick, because when you play claw, you can press the jump button with your pointer finger and still have complete control over your movement without letting your thumbs off the analog sticks. Now, when I was playing double claw, what I personally like to do was have my edit as circle. But if you wanted to, you could switch that and put it to this center button, whatever the heck this thing is called. I forgot what it's called. I used to use both back in the day, but I ended up sticking with circle. And obviously, I would use my pointer finger to press that because I'm on double claw. So just to remind you really quickly, the 4 action keys are jump, which we covered already. Switch mode is on the left analog stick. We have the pickaxe, which we covered already, which is the top D-pad. And then last but not least, we talked about edit, having it on the center button, whatever this center button is on the controller, and then circle if you wanted to do that instead. I went with circle when I did it. Last but not least, what I decided to do was turn on confirm edit on release since I'm playing double claw. And with that in mind, I made R1 select, I made R2 reset, and then I made L2 confirm. Now, this is where it might get a little questionable, but to me, when it comes to having no paddles, I think you should always use confirm edit on release. That's just my opinion, though. I want to stress that. Now, what we're going to do is cover what I would use if I didn't use claw on any side of this controller. So this is PS4 controller, no claw. Just so we're absolutely clear here, no matter what bind you use on non-claw on a normal PS4 or even an Xbox controller, your binds are going to look really clunky and they're not going to be optimal, but I'm going to give you what I think is the best solution to that. Okay, so this was a little challenging, but really quickly, here's what I decided to do. I decided to put jump to my R3, which is the right analog stick. I then decided to put edit to left analog stick. And then from there, what I did was put triangle as pickaxe, so I would use my thumb to press that. Since we got rid of crouch, what I decided to do was put that to circle. Since we swapped crouch with jump, what I decided to do was move the crouch to the next closest button, which is X on PS4. That way you'll have to travel the least amount of distance to take your thumb off the analog stick, because taking your thumb off the analog stick in any situation is not a good idea. But to negate that, what I did was move it to the next closest button, which is X. I decided to do something crazy and put my switch mode to the center button. So what I did was press the button from the the top with my pointer finger instead of pressing it with my thumb on the center over here. That makes it so I'll have complete control over the analog sticks and still be able to switch mode. Me personally, I thought that's a really good idea. And since you're holding the controller normally, what I decided to do was put my confirm to L2 again and my select to R2 and then my reset on R1. And once again, I am using confirm edit on release, and you should definitely be using that if you don't play claw. If you're on PS5, listen to this real quick. This is future Kenby. The PS5 controller is a lot more bulky than the PS4 controller, and with that reason, playing double claw on this thing is definitely possible, but it's extremely difficult. The keybinds for the PS4 layout is exactly what I would use on a PS5 controller. There's no difference. The only thing I have to say with this is that if I was on PS5 personally, I would probably want to do non-claw on both sides. If you can get used to double claw on both sides, definitely do that, but I have decently large hands and I can't even do double claw on that thing, and it might just be because I'm not used to it, to be honest. I'm sure if you give it practice, you'll get pretty good at double claw on PS5 controllers, but to be honest, it's really tough to grip, and if you even have semi-small hands, I think it's going to be really difficult for you. So once again, I'm recommending to use the PS4 non-claw settings, but if you think you can use double claw on that thing, be my guest, because that will be way more optimal. So believe it or not, what I decided to do for the normal Xbox controller was more along the same lines as the PS4 PS5 layout. I'm going to show you one small trick to go to your switch mode though that PS4 doesn't have. Just because there are a bunch of people skipping around this video, once again, I'm going to repeat the binds that I'm using on this controller. So really quickly, there's going to be two different sets of binds for people on Xbox, because if I were you, what I would be doing is using single claw on the right side. So if you're holding this controller normally with no claw grip at all, what I would do is use the same binds as the PS4 PS5 layout. So once again, we're going to have our jump to the right analog stick, and then we're going to set the edit to the left analog stick. We're going to make sure our pickaxe is on Y. So for switch mode, what I decided to do was put it to the left select button, I believe. There's 3 buttons on the center of the controller. It's on the far left side. Really quickly, one thing that I wanted to show you was as I'm moving around, what I'm doing is moving, and if I ever want to get my switch mode out, what I'll do is I'll keep moving right and press it with my thumb at the same time. Doing this action right here is how I get my switch mode out without letting go of the left analog stick. This is like a small little hack to get your switch mode out, but just keep in mind this isn't the most optimal thing in the world because you're only allowed to go right in this situation. This pretty much sums up exactly what I would do on every type of controller: non-claw, claw, paddles, no paddles. I hope this makes everything really clear, and just remember that this is my own personal opinion and what I believe to be the best. I don't think anyone truly knows if these binds are the most optimal in the world, but I tried to give you specific reasons as to why I think these are really good. Guys, drop a like. I hope this video isn't too long. Shout out to everyone on the screen right now using code KenBeans. I appreciate you guys. If you want to be featured in the next video, just send me proof on Instagram or Twitter. It's been your man Ken Beans. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Deuces. Peace.